Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll start. Welcome everybody. I think we only have three of us, but I think more devotees will be joining. Okay, so I'll start with Jai Radha Madhava.
Couple of minutes.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijanna Vallabha Girivaradhari Sodanandana Jajanarandana Jamunatira Manachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kundabihari Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Srila Prabhupada ki jai Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam today. Here's our verse. I'll recite and you recite after me, and then we'll proceed. Tatranvaham Krishna Katha Prayagat Pragayatam. Maybe I'll just do it myself. Tatranvaham Krishna Katha Pragayatam Anugrahena Shravanam Manoharaha Tam Shraddhaya Me Anupadam Vishrunvataha Priya Shravana Sangha Mama Bhavadruchi. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O Vyasdeva, in that association and by the mercy of those great Vedantis, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna, and thus listening attentively, my taste for hearing of the personality of Godhead increased at every step. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is attractive not only in his personal features, but also in his transcendental activities. It is so because the Absolute is absolute in his name, by his name, fame, form, pastimes, entourage, paraphernalia, etc. The Lord descends to this material world out of his causeless mercy and displays his various transcendental pastimes as a human being, so that human beings attract towards him, become able to go back to Godhead. Men are naturally apt to hear stories and narrations of various personalities performing mundane activities without knowing that by such association one simply wastes valuable time and also becomes addicted to the three qualities of mundane nature. Instead of wasting time, one can get spiritual success by turning his attention to the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. By hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, one contacts directly the personality of Godhead, and as explained before, by hearing about the personality of Godhead from within, all accumulated sins of the mundane creature are cleared. Thus, being cleared of all sin, the hearer gradually becomes liberated from mundane association and becomes attracted to the features of the Lord. Narad Muni has just explained this by his personal experience. The whole idea is that simply by hearing about the Lord's pastime, one can become one of the associates of the Lord. Narad Muni has eternal life, unlimited knowledge, and unfathomed bliss, and he can travel all over the material and spiritual worlds without restriction. One can attain to the highest perfection of life simply by attentive hearing of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord from the right sources, as Sri Narada heard from the pure devotees, Bhaktivedanta, in his previous life. This process of hearing in association of the devotees is especially recommended in this age of quarrel Kali. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagna Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Hrijanasaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pradan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate kirim Yat kripatamaham vande Sri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining this morning Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading through a very important section of Srimad Bhagavatam where the life of Narad Muni is described. So before getting deep into this verse, I just want to give an overview of how Narad Muni became Narad Muni. We've been reading regularly, but still repetition is always good. So Narad Muni in his previous life just was the son of a maidservant, and that's what he's describing in this chapter. His situation was that he was quite helpless because he was the only child of his mother. His mother was a maidservant. That means she was serving other people to make some money to maintain herself and also her son. And they were actually quite helpless. So they were living in a place, and during Chaturmas, some devotees, pure devotees, very elevated devotees, they were visiting. So typically these Bhakti Vedantas or the sannyasis, they travel all through the year. The purpose of the travel is to help people understand Krishna, not so much for food or just for sightseeing. They travel mainly to help people understand Krishna. But when it's the rainy season, they pause their travel because it's rainy season. They cannot travel freely. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also followed the same system. During Chaturmas, he will take a pause at some place. Similarly, these devotees, they also took a pause, and this happened to be the place where Narad Muni was living with his mother. So when the opportunity came that these are visiting, the mother naturally took the opportunity to serve them. When they were serving, obviously her son has to. Any comments or anything, Swati Nalluri? Okay, I'll
No,
continue.
no, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, do you have anything to say?
No, Prabhuji. By mistake, it's pressed.
No problem. So when the mother is serving the Bhakti Vedantas, the devotees, the son naturally has to help her because he is dependent on her and he is helping her in every way. So just by that simple arrangement where a child is following the mother, he doesn't know anything much. He's a small child. Just by the child following the mother, and he had inclination also that he says in the few verses before and after, that he was actually a very reserved boy. He was not much interested in playing or any frivolous activities, nothing. He was just a very quiet child, and all he did was serve his mother because that was the situation. Just by that arrangement, he became Narad Muni in the next life, and he describes the whole activity. The reason he is describing all this is because the context is Vyasadeva, who's an incarnation of Krishna. He has written all the Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas, Samhitas. He has written everything, but still he is not satisfied. Now, this is actually very interesting. Krishna, even though he is the Supreme Lord, when he goes through different pastimes, he also goes through the feelings of those pastimes. So, Vyasadeva, he is an incarnation of Krishna just to document everything for the people of Kali Yuga. What would he not know? He has to know everything. That's the incarnation of the Lord exactly for that purpose, to write everything. And yet, after writing most of what he has written, he is still not satisfied. And one day on the bank of Saraswati, he's sitting, and after his morning duties, he is just thinking, puzzled, that what have I missed that I'm still not satisfied? What happened? Like, where did I go wrong? Lord Krishna's incarnation thinking, where did I go wrong in doing what I'm supposed to do? It's a very unusual thing, right? But this is an arrangement by Krishna himself to make a point about the life of Narad Muni and the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's when Narad Muni comes and he questions him that you don't look very happy. And Vyasadeva say, yes, I'm not so happy. You tell me what's the reason of my dissatisfaction, because I've done everything. What is it am I missing? That's when Narad Muni said that you have not described the pastimes of the Lord enough. Tadvag visargo janataga apviplavo yashmin prati shlokam avadhavapi namani yashas yasho ankitani yat shrunvanti gayanti grahnanti sadhava. That particular verse is spoken by Narad Muni there. Srila Prabhupada also quotes this verse where he says that when it comes to describing the glories of the Lord, those who are honest, they will accept the message even though it's not composed properly. Srila Prabhupada said that in the context of him presenting Srimad Bhagavatam in English, because English is not in his first language. Actually, Prabhupada's English is very good, very clear, very easy to understand, but out of humility, he said that my English may not be good, but I want to present it because my Guru asked me, and the honest people, they will accept it. Okay, so that verse was spoken here by Narad Muni, telling Vyasadeva that you present Srimad Bhagavatam or glories of the Lord, even though there is some fault, it will still be perfect. So then he goes on to describe the story of his own life, because when he's saying that, he has to back it up with the evidence, what happened to him only, his personal life. And that's when this whole pastime comes, that Narad Muni was staying with his mother, these Bhakti Vedantas were visiting, and then he was serving them. So now we'll come to this verse. Is everybody clear so far what we have discussed? Just a thumbs up. Yes. All good? Okay. So now here he's saying, O Vyasadeva, in that association, by the mercy of those Vedantis, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna, and thus listening attentively, my taste for hearing the personality of Godhead increased at every step. So this is what is happening here. These are the words of Narad Muni, is exactly what he told Vyasadeva to do, that you should describe the activities of the Lord, because that's the only thing that's going to attract the people. The exact words Sanskrit uses is Tatra Anvaham Krishna Katha Pragayatam. Gayatam means to sing. That they were singing the glories of Krishna. Anugrahena ashravanam manohara. Anugrahena is the mercy. By their causeless mercy, I was able to hear, and they were manohara. They were actually very attractive. By faith, he was able to listen to those pastimes, and when he heard, then he became very attracted. So this is the nature of Krishna Katha, even though initially it may be a little bit not attractive, unattractive or painful. Many times we see that as soon as Srimad Bhagavatam starts, we feel sleepy, right? That happens also. Even though it's considered offensive, but still it's better than nothing. That means the message is going in the ear, at some point it will become attractive. But here Narad Muni, he is actually already quite advanced, because he was saying earlier that he was not attracted in anything else, but when these devotees visited, he became very attractive. And Krishna also explains in Bhagavad Gita that a person starts their spiritual life wherever they left from their previous life. Because Arjuna asked him, what happens if I do not finish it? Krishna says, don't worry, that will not happen. If you finish at 85%, you are going to start at 85% from the next life. That's what Krishna told Arjuna. That's where he also said, Shrutinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Abhijayate. Yoga Brashta person who is not completed their yoga, they take birth in a proper family. So here Narad Muni, he's taken a birth in a situation which seems quite helpless, but actually he's very advanced already. So when these devotees were visiting, then he became attracted, and then he was listening to them. And he's saying, as thus listening attentively, my taste for hearing the personality of Godhead increased at every step. So here, few words. Vishranvataha. Shranvata means to hear, right? Vishranvata is to hear attentively. So one thing about Srimad Bhagavatam, even though we feel a little bit sleepy or a little bit unattracted, but still if somehow one is able to pay attention, then actually it becomes very attractive. It's a slow process, but it's a short process. It does work. And what's the benefit of Srimad Bhagavatam become attractive? Because what happens is then all the things in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, they go away. There's a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam where it says, Shoko moho bhayapa yasyam vaishruyamananam Krishne parama purushe. It's similar to this one. Yasyam vaishruyamananam Krishne parama purushe bhaktirutpadyate pumsam shoko moho bhaya apaha. There it says, Yasyam vaishruyamananam. By hearing about Krishna, Krishne parama purushe, what happens? Bhakti utpadyate pumsam. That a person develops bhakti. Here also the same message is giving. My taste for hearing of the personality of Godhead increased at every step. Okay? So going back to the verse I was just quoting, Bhaktir utpadyate pumsam shoka moha bhaya apaha. A person becomes free from shoka, moha, and bhaya. Shoka is lamentation, moha is illusion, and bhaya is fear. Now we all deal with these three problems in some way or the other. We're lamenting for some things from the past, something that we did or someone did to us, and we feel very sorry or regret that this thing happened. And even though we cannot change it, but somehow we keep going in that space in the past. So that is called shoka, lamentation. Nothing we can do. We cannot change it. It already happened, but somehow we still suffer because of that. So here Krishna is saying that you can become free from shoka, moha, and bhaya. And the fear, illusion and fear, you can become free from that. Similarly, Narad Muni is saying here that by listening to them attentively, his attraction for hearing about Krishna increased at every step. Let's pick a few things from Prabhupada's purport. One thing he's highlighting is the process of hearing in the association of devotees is especially recommended in this age of Kali. In Kali, we cannot do so many yagyas, so much tapasya. Living in America, definitely we cannot go do some austere tapasya. People go to Himalayas, people go to very holy places. We are here living in cities doing our work. So clearly for us, if there's any way out, it has to be somewhere here. And fortunately, by Krishna's mercy and by Prabhupada's grace, we are actually able to get bhakti right in this environment. Srila Prabhupada spread this Krishna consciousness movement starting not too far from where everybody is, all of you are, in New Jersey, New York. That's where this started and spread all over the world. And the same message we see here, that one has to hear about Krishna in the association of devotees. Once you hear, then the effect of the modes slowly goes away. And a person, initially, a person by hearing regularly, they become peaceful. Once we become peaceful on a regular basis, consistently peaceful, then what happens is we know that this is working. There are many other things that will come later in the process of bhakti, but at least a person becomes peaceful. Here Narad Muni is saying that by hearing this, he became immediately attracted. Also he is saying the effects of the sinful activities from the past, it became clear. Here we see this Prabhupada saying, I'll just read some of it. Instead of wasting time, one can get spiritual success by turning his attention to the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. By hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, one contacts directly the personality of Godhead, and as explained before, by hearing about the personality of Godhead from within, all the accumulated sins of the mundane creature are cleared. Thus, being cleared of all sins, the hearer becomes gradually liberated from mundane association and becomes attracted to the features of the Lord. So this is what happens, that by hearing about Krishna, slowly the unwanted things go away. When the unwanted things go away, that the things which are favorable, they come in. Once they come in, then a person becomes very happy. Well, first they become peaceful and slowly they experience spiritual happiness. And that is the life of Narad Muni. He started as a son of maidservant, and he explains what happened after that. After he met the Bhaktivedantas, then they left, and he was really longing for their association, but somehow they were gone, and he's a small child. And one day in the evening, his mother was going for milking the cows, and then that's when she was bit by a snake, and due to the poison from snake bite, she actually died. And Narad Muni took it as Krishna's mercy. How many children will actually do that? He took it as Krishna's mercy and immediately started going north, and he traveled through all these villages, cities, mines, cowherds, different just all kinds of places he went through. And finally he reached a place where he was extremely tired. So he sat under a banyan tree. Before that he took a bath, he drank water, and he explains that even though he was a child, when he took bath and drank some water, he felt some relief from the exhaustion. And then he sat under a banyan tree, closed his eyes, and he meditated on the Supreme Lord. As soon as he meditated, Krishna appeared in his heart, and then he was able to see Krishna face to face in his heart. There are details there that Krishna gave him a message that you won't be able to see me in this life anymore, but I am showing you this form just so that you become attractive and continue on your path. And same thing happens to us. Sometimes when we go to temple or some festival, we become very attracted and we like it very much, and that becomes some motivation for us to keep going. So he kept going, and finally, when the end of his life came, that's when he achieved his spiritual form and then became Narad Muni. So the whole history or the life story of Narad Muni is given just to give us an evidence that this thing actually works. We just have to keep going, and slowly, one day we will actually achieve the association of the Lord, and that's when we become happy. It's not wishful thinking, it's actually a fact. It's just that it takes time and it can even take multiple lifetimes. So one has to be patient, but it does work. But you will see the changes in your life already. After practicing for some time, we will see changes in our life, and those changes are positive. So with that, I'll take a pause here. If there are any questions or comments, we have 5 minutes left, so we can talk anything about this particular verse or in just this whole pastime in general. If anybody has anything, we can discuss that. Was it clear, the whole where we are?
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay, good. Any questions or comments? Anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one of the question is, you mentioned that as we slowly listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, we get peace. As things come up in our bhakti life, also we get peace. So in this past, what the sages were discussing, and this all of a sudden, this his mother passing away is such such very tragic situation, but he still handled it with peace, right? Is this coming from the discussions that he heard? And I'm just curious what they were discussing and how he got that peace of mind when even such a tragic situation happened.
A good point and good question. So yes, it definitely came from that discussion and just his overall situation, because he was already quite advanced. He's a child and he's not attracted in so many things children are attracted to. So it came from those messages. In these verses of Bhagavatam, it does not give the details of what exactly they discuss, but it does say that they were Bhakti Vedantas. So if they are Bhakti Vedantas, naturally they are discussing Bhakti. So they must be discussing Srimad Bhagavatam in some form. Which pastime, what details, it does not say. But it doesn't matter, because Krishna's pastimes, whether you take from Srimad Bhagavatam or somewhere else, they are Krishna's pastimes. And he has unlimited pastimes. If they were not discussing these pastimes in Bhagavatam, they were discussing some other pastimes, but the nature is same. It does not matter in that sense. So definitely the message was same as Srimad Bhagavatam. Otherwise, why would he tell Vyasadeva to do the same thing unless he heard it? And why would Vyasadeva write all the things we are reading in this Srimad Bhagavatam? So clearly it's the same Bhagavatam. It's just which pastimes were discussed is not given. And because of that only, he was able to handle that situation very gracefully. It does give you a real, how do I say this? This actually change in consciousness is real. And a person does get the ability to handle difficult situation just by connecting with Krishna. And we see in case of Narad Muni, he did it. And so are many other devotees who have done it. So it's definitely possible. It's just that we have to keep going and eventually we reach there. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you very much. We'll conclude here. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu. So let's thank His Grace Nanda Kumar Prabhu for delivering a wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam class by chanting 3 times Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. There is a one announcement. On Wednesday, His Grace Ananda Chaitanya Prabhu, disciple of His Holiness Sivarama Swami Maharaj, is traveling from ISKCON, Hungary. So we are arranging a special discourse at our ISKCON Somerset, evening 7 p.m. Wednesday, 7 p.m. So encouraging everyone to come and take his association. With that, let's offer our prayers to Lord Narasimha to give complete protection to our congregation and the entire world. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnam Jalantam Sarvatomukam Narasimham Bhishanam Bhatram Muthyurmutyurnamamiham Ugram Veeram Mahavishnam Jalantam Sarvatomukam Narasimham Bhishanam Bhatram Muthyurmutyurnamamiham Ugram Veeram Mahavishnam Jalantam Sarvatomukam Narasimham Bhishanam Bhatram Muthyurmutyurnamamiham. Narasimha Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. We wish you a very, very happy Krishna conscious day ahead. With that, we will conclude our Vaishnava prayer and 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Vancha kalpatarapyasya kripa sindhobhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. भगवान श्री कृष्ण परमात्मा की जय। अंग पुराणम श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। We'll see you tomorrow morning 6:30 a.m. Srimad Bhagavatam class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.